Gotta.
Hey, we're live. That's New York Vinnie. I'm Michael Knight. He's in Seattle. I'm in LA. It's Monday, it's Wednesday, or it's Friday. So I'm going to take a guess and say it's a wacky Wednesday. How close am I?
I'll take Wednesday in the points, my friend. How are you this morning?
Well, it's going to be a partially sunny day here in Los Angeles. We have temperatures in the high 60s, low 70s, and we're prepared. Well, we're not prepared. We have less, what, like 20 days till Christmas? Good God.
Something like that. Yeah. I
I
mean, it was
feel
just Thanksgiving yesterday.
I feel all jangly and out of sorts. The holidays, no matter what you do, they catch up with you, and they always seem to be a surprise. Like when we start having these holidays in December? Has that been going on for a couple of years?
I think when we were getting the presents in December back when we were kids,
That was different. We didn't have to shop. All you had to do was unwrap.
all you had to do was look at the Sears catalog, tear a couple of pages out, put them on the refrigerator, and you were good to go. And you got
Make
all different
them.
things.
This is what I need. I need a
Although,
Remco rocket launcher. Why? Well, an instability in South Korea. I need a rocket launcher.
we have, yeah, not nary a better time for instability, huh?
I'd say it's a great time for us to institute. Can we declare martial law then? Do we have the right on our show to declare martial law?
I think we can only declare martial law in Spolpakia. Spolpakia, excuse
Remember,
me.
Marjorie Taylor Greene thinks it's Marshall, Marshall, like a
Yeah,
federal
well,
martial law.
she she thinks it's either Jim Marshall or Marshall Amps or Marshall like Marshall
Marshall
Dillon
Phillips,
or
Marshall
Marshall
Phillips.
Phillips or any other great marshals that I'm sure people can think about. No, I don't think.
Where, where, where is Marshall? Have you kept track of him? Marshall
Last I
Phillips,
heard,
our colleague from the past.
yeah, last I heard he was in Sacramento, living up there, and in my many trips to Sacramento. I've never even tried to look him up, and I feel bad about that. I know that he was sick for a while, but I had heard he'd gotten better. I'll have to ask Lorraine when I talk to her. She keeps tabs on the people in the Bay Area. You
In
know,
our
the
in
Bay
our
Area.
former circle of acquaintances.
Yeah, it was quite a circle, man. It was you know, I can't wait till I get my stuff here and I pull that tape that I have, and I know I pulled it out so that it would actually be in a place where it could be seen, or
And what's
where I
on
could
this
grab
tape?
it right away and turn it into digital of that tour of the city for our during our Christmas party. Um, I think that was the 86, 87 to 88. We were gone. That was the one that they blew us out. But that 86 Christmas party where I just went room to room and caught everybody in the act. Um,
Mhm.
it's such a great tape. You know, it's got you and holding Kailani and yeah, it was. I got to get that thing and digitize it so everybody can see it because it's the probably the only living piece of history we have
Of who we almost were.
of whom we almost were. Who we we thought we were on the precipice of greatness, and we were for the time it lasted.
Here's my note to the folks out there that plan to be media magnets. Don't buy a bunch of radio stations and then start selling them to pay the freight on the ones you bought. That doesn't make any sense. You'll end up with no radio stations, no money, no future, no reputation, and no plans for another for coming off the bench and pinch hitting and getting it all back again. It'll never happen.
Well, as we have been witness to, radio and communications. First of all, I don't know, excuse me, what person in their right mind would get involved with radio right now, um,
Nobody.
except if somebody offered you a station with the property and the transmitter for $1, or $10 or $100, and it beamed into a major metropolitan area or even a mid-sized city, um, that's something that I would look at because I still think that there is a something will happen with AM radio. It's not going to go away, but on a I think even if you just did and you took a page out of the old what do they used to call that when they would read the ads on the air,
Marketplace,
small market stations would read, the jock
the
would sit there and just read ads
the
on
flea
the air.
market. It's the noon flea market. We used to do that at KTIM.
Yeah, they used to do it.
Anybody could call in and sell what they were.
When I first
I'm
got
selling my Encyclopedia Britannicas. Give me $1.50 for each one.
right, right, the trade something or tradio, they called it tradio in Pittsburgh, tradio, and they actually did it on KDKA when I first got to Pittsburgh. And this was 2010.
Oh, those were the days.
They did it on Saturdays on KDKA, which is, for those who don't know, the original radio station, the first radio station to broadcast the World Series, the first radio station to do a million things, and um, and one of the only radio stations east of the Mississippi that uses the letter K.
It's kind of weird,
And,
but they did it in Pittsburgh for some reason.
well, that was where Westinghouse, and I don't know why, but that was where Westinghouse's headquarters were. And I don't know why, though, that they decided to do that. But I think there's two or three other stations that have that same situation where they have a K.
I think in Louisiana they have K's and W's together.
Yeah, yeah. It's somehow. Anyway, we're going somewhere where we don't need to go. But just to wrap it up, it was a great thing because you'd sit there and you'd listen to it, and if you were in a small town, it was great because my uncle wants to sell a '62 Mercury, and it's only got 18,000 miles on it. He's had it in the garage. All right, Tom, what's your number? Oh yeah, I'm at 412-978-9898. Give me a call, and they'd move on to the next one. And on a Saturday afternoon, you'd sit there with a piece of paper and a pen, and you'd write. If you heard something you wanted, you wrote it down. It was kind of like today's Facebook Marketplace.
And if it's close, you could walk over and take a look at it.
Yeah, or you call them up. Hey, I'll come over later. Anyway, I got a strange feeling, and this is no scientific research, but I got a strange feeling some bizarre thing like that would work on certain AM stations.
Now imagine being the jock and you're sitting there and no one's calling in. Hey, it's the KDKA Marketplace. Give me a call, please.
Well,
Someone give me a call. If I get one call, I can stretch you to the top of the hour. Tell me more about yourself.
Yeah, that's. But it's funny because I think people, for whatever reason, gravitated toward that. Whether it was a chance to get an ad there for free, or whatever it was, it was, it was a free ad.
I'm going to pick up a vacuum. I'm going to pick up a vacuum cleaner for $1.50. Give me $1.50. You get the vacuum cleaner's yours.
Yeah, yeah. It was bizarre how many people listened to that thing because a lot of people listened. And they never seemed to be at a want for calls. So it was pretty amazing to me what they did and how they did it, but they did.
And somebody's on the other end saying, "How can we scam this and take these people for everything they got? How can we do it?"
Unfortunately, Michael, that is the in whatever we do today. That's what we have to look out for. But even then, I mean, I remember them having rules about Tradio is that you didn't meet somebody in a dark place or anything like that. You go. As a matter of fact, there were places that were set up where people could go, much like it is now with Craigslist. If you remember, they had places and police departments even had,
Safe
and they still
houses.
have them, lighted areas right outside the police station where you could go with your goods and meet somebody and do a transaction.
Let's make a deal and let's not get knifed in the process.
Exactly. Now, I'm not sure that nobody got knifed, but it was at least a smart idea to try to create a safe space where people could go and do their transactions and stuff like that. Um, I have something I'm going to sell this month sometime, probably within the next week, and I'm a little worried about it. Because the best way for me to sell it is probably to put it on Facebook, and I'm just really like kind of boy.
What
Although
could
I've had
possibly
good experience
what could
selling
possibly go
stuff.
wrong? Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a good. I mean, I've sold a few cars on Facebook Marketplace, and I've had great interactions and everything with but you got to stick to the rules that of common sense,
Yeah.
which is you don't meet somebody at your house, you don't meet
Don't
somebody
be a
on
damn
the plane.
fool. Right.
You get there, you have them send over a copy of an ID or something like that before you get there, at least their home address or something like that, where you can kind of identify them if, God forbid, something should go wrong.
I know you said cash, but I'm bringing you a check, a brand new iron that's never been out of the box, and my laundry from the corner. Look, I didn't even take
Cashier's
it out of the
check, you
plastic.
do you don't get the merchandise until the check clears, which I'm not in favor of. Or we go to the bank, and the bank issues me a cashier's check for that amount.
In fact, let's
And
meet at the bank. How would that be?
I got
On
the check,
video.
you get the merchandise, and I did that. I bought one of my not one, not just one. I bought a couple of cars off of eBay, and that's exactly how we did it. We went to the bank. I gave him the cash. I took the money out of my account and made it into a cashier's check. Handed it to the person. They handed me the title. Title looked good. I'd run the VIN numbers before. It's all about just being smart.
And experienced, having done it before, you can see what goes wrong and where you have gaps in your security.
Right. Exactly. I mean, you can do these transactions. You just have to, but, in the holiday season when it's cold, when people are in a rush to do things, the worst thing you can be is in a rush to do something
Yeah.
because you almost inevitably forget dotting one of the I's
And you're
or
gonna hate you're
crossing
gonna
one.
hate you're gonna hate your excuse when it's all over because well, why'd you do that? Well, I was in a hurry. I was behind time. I was late. I was oh, so it's your fault that you
Yeah,
got screwed.
exactly. Exactly. But most of these things that happen when they you always see these reports on news. A senior citizen gives over $25,000 to some guy who was trying. It's almost always a case of not making sure that or saying, "Well, it's all right."
That'll probably work out.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll work out. Unfortunately, in this day and age, you just can't take anybody at their, that unless you know them and know them well, and even then, I mean, Judge Judy and the People's Court are full of people who knew each other real well. Matter of fact, family members that
And
did
they don't
some
have
kind
their
of transaction.
and even then on TV they don't have their paperwork. They don't have it.
Yeah, I love Judge Judy when somebody, and I don't watch it all the time, but every once in a while, I tune in because I do like to watch the human condition,
This
and
is
you
so
definitely
hilarious.
see it on Judge Judy in the People's Court.
While we're talking about being careful, the CEO of United Healthcare was not careful this morning. Uh,
No, no.
the guy that was a studio guest on the shooting in New York today, where the CEO of United Healthcare was shot dead on the street of New York in front of the Hilton Hotel, where he was going apparently for a stockholders meeting. And this is the time of year when people get very upset about their stock going up or down, and they might blame the CEO. and he had no security. And they said that that was a mistake on his part that he won't make again.
Well, no, he won't be making that mistake again. Um, I,
He
I,
got upset at stockholders meetings.
yeah, sometimes you think nowadays that if you're the head of a corporation like that, but this sounds like, I mean, I watched the press conference before, and this just sounds like a hit. This
Didn't the
doesn't
chief
sound like, this is not, doesn't
the
sound
guy
like,
the guy running the press conference today, the big police chief in New York? I don't know his name, but God, he's got a wonderful accent. He's got a fabulous New York
they
accent.
all have great accents. I mean, I love listening to police NYPD press conferences because they all have that same. It's not just a New York accent; it's a cop accent.
Yep, it's
And if there was
something
one
to behold.
fault with Sipowicz, is that he never got that cop accent right.
Never
He
got the
always
flat
had
A's.
that
Never got
twinge
it.
of Chicago in there.
Yep, little Milwaukee.
Right. He couldn't get rid of that. And that was my only complaint ever with Sipowicz. He was a grand and he was so good at his character that you overlooked it. We're talking about, of course, Andy Sipowicz from NYPD Blue, the character that most people refer to as the ultimate New York City detective.
But he didn't sound like it.
But he just didn't have. But when you listen to those guys and women, they both have it.
Yep.
There's just a diction. There's words that they use
The
and
perpetrator.
phrases that they use. They don't say, like they don't say I'll get in contact. They say I'll reach out to somebody.
We reached out to him.
Well, we'll reach out to the 1-4 and see what's. There's just a whole diction and a whole way that they talk that to me is fascinating. It's not a code. I mean, you can understand it, but there's words in there that you would never expect to be in there. Numbers
The,
aren't said 25; they're said 25 or 27. He's in the 27. He's in the 1-8. He's down in Manhattan North. He's at Motorcycle South. Or highway. But now they call it highway patrol. They used to call it motorcycle
on the
when
video
I
at
was.
8:48 a.m., we see the perpetrator on the sidewalk.
Yeah, there's just a whole. No, they don't use perpetrator. They use
Sus-
unidentified male or unidentified female. No, it's real. And anyway, this guy, just from what have seen of it, it just looks like a classic hit.
Because
Uh,
his gun jammed and he cleared it and still made the shooting, so he had
right,
experience.
which led them to believe that this was, a professional job. I mean, you hate to think this kind of stuff, but they'll probably find out that the wife or somebody that had a vested interest in getting rid of him
They never
got
get the
rid of him.
wrong guy. You killed the CEO of United Healthcare. What? I thought that was General Figgemigad. No, General Figgemigad was at the other hotel. He was at the William Penn, and you were to the Hilton. I told you. I told you before you left. Check the hotel, but no. You, Mr. Smarty Pants, you shot the CEO.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time they've got the wrong guy. Um, and it's sad. I mean, you feel bad for the guy. You feel bad for his family. Um, you feel,
I mean, the guy went right down an alley and got away.
yeah, got onto an e-bike, took off into Central Park, and you notice if somebody gets into Central Park, you
Goodbye.
probably aren't going to find him. Not at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. You're not going to find
Now,
him.
there's cameras in front of the Hilton, but there's no cameras in front of the Sheep's Meadow.
Well, they did. They actually did get a shot of the guy in Central Park on the e-bike, and the e-bikes have. I mean, you don't just start an e-bike. You have to have a credit card or an Apple Pay or a cell phone or something.
These are rentals on the streets of New York, right?
Right, right. They call them city bikes because they're sponsored by Citibank, and yeah, they're not. You have to have some kind of device to unlock it, whether it be a credit card. Now, who knows? Maybe he's got a cash. If he's a smart hitman, he's going to have a cash card or a debit card that's not attached to anybody that you can trace. So, but these guys always make mistakes. There's always something that they do. He had a very distinctive backpack on.
Yep.
I'm sure that they'll find out where that backpack comes from.
And they have the 3 rounds that weren't fired on the sidewalk. He
Yeah.
didn't. He didn't police his brass.
So but it's sad. Today is the tree lighting day in New York, which is always a big holiday. Mariah Carey comes out
How do you
and
get a tree that size into New York? I mean, cutting
on
it
a truck,
down is one thing.
on a truck. They have a
Well, they make
truck and
it.
a crane. They bring it in from I don't know where this one is from. I know one year. It's funny. The first year I got here, I think they got the tree from somewhere just outside of Seattle. The last year that I was in Pittsburgh, they got the tree somewhere just outside of Pittsburgh from some forest in the Allegheny uh, forest.
And
Some
it's got to be
tree
what,
from the
40
Allegheny
feet, 40
forest.
feet, 40 feet tall, 20 feet tall.
Oh no, it's I don't know. I mean, it's 5 stories or something like that, 6 stories. I mean, it's a huge tree. It's if you've never been to Rockefeller Center, um, not for the tree lighting. That gets to be a little bit of a zoo, and you can watch it on TV. But to go to Rockefeller Center at Christmas time
Skating rink.
and see that tree and everything that goes along with it. When we were kids, my mother used to take us into Manhattan. We'd get off on 57th and 5th, and we'd go look at the different store windows because every store did their windows up for Christmas. And there was Bonwit Teller and Abercrombie and Fitch, and I mean all these
Tiff,
famous names that
don't
are all on
forget,
the internet now.
don't forget
Only
Tiffany.
Tiffany was right on the corner. Their windows are always very cool. And you'd walk down from 57th down to 49th and 50th, which was Rockefeller Center, and you'd go into Rockefeller Center, and there would be the tree, and you could smell the chestnuts and the vendors with the pretzels and everything. And then, if you were lucky, you went to Radio City Music Hall. The Rockettes were doing the Christmas show.
They got to loosen up first. I told you, warm up, girls.
Well,
It's
after the
getting,
parade, they need a little warming up there. It was kind of cold for that and rainy for that parade.
yeah.
But it's a wonderful. If you ever get a chance to go, take advantage of it and go. There's no other. I mean, I've been to Christmas in a lot of different cities, and there's no city that does it quite like New York for Christmas. There's nothing I've ever seen that gets that um, lit up and that just takes it as serious
You might see Tom
as
Hagen, although he's upset because the Don is not well.
right. The Don is. You better make sure Sonny takes that deal. Man, and that's where that's it's just a great thing at Christmas time. And then to have something like this, as a matter of fact, it was interesting because the police department made sure that they came out and let people know that it wasn't a random shooting. It wasn't somebody just just gunning people down on the sidewalk because that's 2 blocks away from the tree lighting.
2 blocks away from NBC
Yeah, it's what is it,
or Cable
13?
Town.
I think it's 1330 Avenue of the Americas and Rockefeller Center is at like 1100. Radio City Music Hall is like the 1100 block. And then of course you have in the middle you have the little streets there and the plaza and the ice skating rink with a tree and NBC Studios.
And who's the guy holding the Earth? The giant globe on his back. What's his name? The statue of the
Oh,
guy
Atlas.
holding Atlas. Thank you.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that
they
isn't that Atlas Shrugged. holding the
No,
weight of the
that's
world on his shoulders.
well, that's the Anne Rice, Anne Rice, not Anne Rice. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that's the
Ayn
Ayn Rand
Rand.
book.
There you go.
Um,
Anne Rice. God, I was an interview with a vampire mixed up with Atlas Shrugged.
well, kind of the same when you think about it. Um,
Kind of,
but it
and
was,
kind of not the same.
yeah, it was really, it's just a fantastic area. It's a fantastic time to be downtown, or Midtown, I should say. And over the past years, New York is really, it's funny because I think the only building that I remember that didn't have a lot of Christmas stuff on it was Trump Tower. Now, I might be wrong.
It's
I might
because
just not have noticed it.
the Trump official word on holidays is that the people who celebrate them are suckers and losers.
Well, they're bringing back Christmas. No, they're not suckers if they buy the Bible. If they buy the Bible, they're happy.
I read it all the time, says Donald Trump.
Yeah, and it comes with the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution right in there, so you can read them side by side next to each other.
Hey, Donnie Babe, I'd be a great Secretary of Defense, but you're drunk. So,
It makes it even better. Yeah, that's yeah. It's funny because I just haven't. I've divorced myself from the news as much as possible without. I mean, I'm just not doing CNN 24/7 like I usually do. I go to it for an hour a day. I check it out. I see what's going on. But for the most part, I'm not consuming now. Maybe when he gets in, but I'm just trying not to consume news as much because there's not a lot that we can do about it right now. You know, we'll get it cranked up again, and hopefully, as the midterms come around, although I think it is a sign of hope that um, the Republicans hold such a slim majority in the
and
House.
Trump keeps nominating people who have to leave their office. They're currently holding an important slim advantage. He keeps nominating people who have to leave their office to serve, and that means a special election. And then we're stuck right back with a tie in the House, which is
Yeah,
probably good
yeah.
news.
So it's it seems like we're headed toward a situation where nothing is going to get done
Standoff.
again for 4 more years. Um,
Hey, we're better off that way than with the alternative.
right, and I shouldn't say nothing got done under Biden, but um,
Hunter Biden brought down the price of cocaine single handedly.
well, that's an interesting situation because he went ahead and said, well, you know what? If this guy can lie, what the hell? Why don't I lie too? And he pardoned his son, and I can't say I wouldn't do um, the same thing.
Well, if it were Eric Trump, you think Donald would cut Eric some slack? Probably not.
Yeah, I just
Yeah, I would, Eric. I would get you out of this fix, but you were always the dumb one. So what am I going to do?
yeah. What am I? I
If I do
can't
it,
get
if
rid
I
of you
do it
one way. I'll
now,
get rid of you the other way. Yeah, I'm just after the cabinet announcements have come out, I just not that I lost interest, Michael, but because I still care. But I just like it's what? Let it get all set up. Let it get all there's nothing that we're going to be able to do about it at this point. And absence of any proof that there was any kind of election fraud, um, he won. It's what the people wanted, not me.
267,000 votes in 3 states.
Yeah, it's it's hard to believe, even weeks after it happened. It's still hard to believe, but it's not that hard to believe.
Well, we're a
If
mess.
you
We are a mess. Not a functioning mess, but an unfunctioning mess.
you know, and
Don't call us in the middle of the night needing help about anything. We can't help you.
well, that's it. We have our own problems we got to straighten out, and I don't know that they're going to get straight anytime soon. I just we have a president, incoming president that doesn't understand about tariffs.
This doesn't even. They're his favorite word. He has no idea what it means.
He doesn't understand that it's good that now maybe it won't, but I don't see how it couldn't.
But
you know,
If you want Canadian bacon for the next 4 years, you got a problem.
right? And then of course he tells Trudeau yesterday that maybe we should make Canada the 51st state.
I don't think that the Canadians. I just don't see them going for it. I could be wrong.
I don't think so either, to be honest with you. He always seems to want to add land, a country to us. He always seems to. He seems to have this Putin-esque thing of wanting to annex some kind of land, except for
Well,
Puerto Rico.
that was Hitler's idea with Russia. He said, we're not invading. We just need room to grow, and they got all this room. Just
But
because
it's
they call it Russia.
bizarre the way he goes about it. Like he doesn't say, "Okay, well, we'll make Puerto Rico the 51st state," or we'll do this or do that, or maybe we'll make an offer to. He wants white lands. He doesn't want to annex any dark people.
Puerto Rico, a little too dark. Canada, on the other hand, very white,
Couldn't get whiter. Greenland. What was it? Greenland that he wanted to annex. Right? He wanted to buy.
and Iceland too, because they have a nice capital in Reykjavik.
Yeah, he wanted to. He thought it'd be a good idea to annex those countries.
And he thought just because they're living there and they have their own language and their own culture, wouldn't they be happier if they were part of the United States? Wouldn't they be better off in the long run?
Well, if you have Mexicans that look at the United States right now and say
Uh-uh.
we wouldn't want to be part of that,
We're better off with the cartels. Thank you very much.
yeah, we're
Muchos gracias.
yeah. Why would anybody at this point? Now, I'm not saying that it won't change at some point, but why would any country at this point say I'd be better off with the United States?
It's just a big question mark. We don't know what
Just
we're
like
going to become.
just like why would any country say they'd be better off with Russia or China for that matter? I mean, the Ukrainians are dying so that they cannot be a part of Russia. It would have been very easy for them just to throw up their hands and say, okay, we'll go back to Mother Russia.
Don't
But
wanna.
they got a taste of what freedom is and what independent living is.
You saw
And
how much
basically
fun
what
the
we have over here to what I think will be a more limited degree. And they said, you know what? We'll fight. We'd rather fight than switch.
plus we saw the Russians in Moscow walking around. They don't look happy. They look cold. They look hungry. We're not going for that. That's not an upgrade. We don't seem to see a better deal. That's not a deal.
Well,
Such a deal.
you'd look cold and hungry if Tucker Carlson kept invading your country too.
He takes the bread when he gets there. We got just a little bread and Tucker Carlson, that pig, he took it all.
Yeah, we got 3 meats, and this guy takes them all and goes up to his hotel room with a loaf of bread.
I like bread. I'll take it all. Thank you. Put it in the
He's
car.
eating sandwiches and he's shocked at shopping carts. Have
Wrap it up, put it in the car. We don't have anybody who wraps stuff up. You're in the wrong country. We don't wrap it up here. You wrap it up.
Yeah, you bring a shopping bag like they do in Seattle. You put it in the shopping bag and you go home with it. It's
Coffee.
ah, good for the soul. It's cold here today, man. It's cold and foggy. I mean, it's like it's like sunset foggy.
Sunset neighborhood in San Francisco.
Yeah, you know how it gets cold and wet and foggy in the sunset.
Every damn
It
day.
seems to be that here today.
Chill you to the
So
bone.
yeah,
You remember a thing that was called California cold? It's only 55 degrees. It shouldn't be that cold, but it's freezing out here.
well, it's that
There's,
wet.
it's something in the air, so the dampness in the air. It's colder than it is when it's 20 degrees in Wenatchee.
Yeah, you get that because it. I don't know how it touches you differently, but it does. I mean that dry cold that you get in Wenatchee, or places like that, Idaho, and so on and so forth. It's it feels tight.
Yeah.
It's like it's a tight cold. It feels like your skin tightens up when you go out in it. In this wet cold,
Tighten up
doesn't
by
feel like that. There's a
Archie
different.
Bell and the Drells.
It's probably good for your skin. I don't know. Now have you? I noticed this. See now, it was foggy when we started this show. All of a sudden, the fog is burning off, and now there's sunshine outside. It's cold, but it's sunny. It's starting to get sunny, so that's good.
We're going to have a high today of 67, and it's mostly sunny now.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see 67 until April. Um, Although we might get a couple of days, but I don't even. I got to look and see what we got.
Yeah, I talked to the Volkswagen people. You don't have to give the bus back. It's okay.
No,
You
they
can.
came and took it already.
I thought we had an agreement.
I guess your agreement didn't work out that well. It was a sad day around here. Yeah, it looks like we're going to hit 50 at some point this week. Yeah, Friday. Saturday, we might get to 51. So,
Holy moly.
yeah,
Party.
shocking. Um, yeah, the Monday night, they came and got it. And it was sad to see it go. I really, you know, uh, I don't know if I fell in love with the vehicle or the attention that I got driving the vehicle.
Yeah, the
You
answer
know,
is yes.
yeah. I mean, the vehicle was nice, but it was not. You know what it was, Michael? It was like well, it was like going to a ball game. People weren't. Nobody said, "Are you a Trump guy or are you a Harris guy? Are you a Republican? Are you a liberal?" They just talked about the car. They just talk. And I'm going to write about this. I just haven't driven a car in a while that has given so many people pleasure like that. It evoked. I mean, the Corvette used to do it. You'd park the Corvette, and people would come up to you and talk to you about when they had a Corvette, or their neighbor, or somebody, or their son, or it just evokes an emotional thing inside of you that I don't know, not many consumer products do. I don't see a lot of people talking about that refrigerator or that oven or whatever it is.
Oh, what a
But
refrigerator. What a
with
refrigerator I've got.
yeah, with the Volkswagen, with that bus, it was cool from a practical standpoint because it had a lot of room inside, and more room than a Chevy Suburban in the interior.
Wow.
But it also was a vehicle to take people back to a better time in their lives.
Maybe the Secret Service will start using Volkswagen buses instead of Suburbans.
Maybe that'd be nice to see. Trump got a lot of headroom, except the sunroof doesn't open. You have to it either darkens or it lightens, but it doesn't
Hmm.
open.
Hmm.
So it's a photo cell generic photo. I forget what the phrase is for it. Um, but it just really it was just cool to see when I took that car to Cars and Coffee on Saturday morning. I mean, it had a crowd around it. It was the star of the show, and I mean, you got people there with beautiful classic cars, but it did everything to the hardened car guys that a '58 Chevy in perfect condition showing up did. And it's very rare that you get a new car that crosses the lines like that. Men and women, kids
Somebody
even
pulled
looking at it.
somebody pulled up their 20-year-old Volkswagen bus and parked it next to it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We had, and then when we were going out to Leavenworth, we found another orange one that was just sitting there. So we pulled ours up next to it and took a couple of shots. But it was just neat to see that. It was neat to look at that, and just for people, just for the fun of people enjoying it. I mean, that's what it's kind of what you hope for when when you have these vehicles. You kind of hope that some way somehow that people will see them and get some kind of enjoyment out of it, and that's exactly what happened with the buzz. People got enjoyment out of it. So I'm going to try to see if I can call up a little video that I did. Yeah, I'll be able to do this here. Just take a look at this. This was at the Shoreline Cars and Coffee.
What is the range on that thing?
240. Yeah, so a lot of people asking questions. A lot of people want to sit in it and get their picture taken, which I always find fascinating. And I'm always, yeah, go ahead, sit in it.
Go
I
ahead, go
mean,
ahead.
and then here was this guy with his '80s, I think, Volkswagen all-wheel drive Overlander setup, and he was enthralled with it. Plus, you'll be able to get
What
this
is
in
that?
all-wheel drive. So it was just a neat little trip to the Shoreline Cars and Coffee.
And
And
a good way to judge the reaction of the common man to that new release.
that's exactly it. And that's why when I get these kinds of cars that are unique and different, I take them to the Cars and Coffee. I mean, I love going down there and looking at the different cars that people bring. There's so many very cool cars that show up down there, and it's a
I'd like
good
to see a
bunch of people too.
1959 DeSoto. I want to see is as big as a city block.
There was a guy who had a '59 Plymouth this past weekend. '59 Plymouth. I don't know if it was a Savoy or a
Really huge.
Fury or what it was, but yeah, it had the fins and the huge trunk and the cascading roof. I mean, it really looked. It was that Virgil Exner styling
Yeah.
that that really had Chrysler at the forefront, along with General Motors, um, of the fin generation. From '56 to '63, really '64,
Remember the
when
Super
cars had
Swirl?
chrome and fins, and you know,
The Buick had fins.
yeah, '59 Cadillac, the biggest fins. I think the biggest fins ever on a car. I may be wrong. I'm trying to think of something that might. I mean, the '59 and '60 Plymouths had large fins.
Did they
I
stabilize
haven't
the car in
measured.
any way? Did they stabilize in any way, or were they just for show?
They were just for show. They didn't stabilize anything. They weren't thinking about stabilizing anything in those days, Michael. They were thinking about, um, what was the most outrageous? Who could get more outrageous with the things? And so you had just this this kind of competition really between General Motors and Chrysler over who could come up with the most outrageous fins and treatments. I mean, you even had fins on Ramblers. The Rambler Ambassador had fins.
Wee little fins.
Um, they were actually fairly
Fins with
fairly
self-respect.
large fins for the day. Um, not as big as the Caddy or the Chrysler though. The Caddy,
My God.
the Chevys, although the Chevy fins were flat, where the Cadillacs were upright.
Like the 50,
Looks like
the
somebody took
variation
the
on the
Chevy,
57 Chevy.
bent them downward. But the
Yeah.
57 had the huge fins. And then the 58 had but those were the years where every year presented a radically different looking car.
Yeah,
Not
great
just
years.
a different car, but a radically different, every 2 years. Now you get the same design. You can't tell a 2023 Malibu from a 1998 Malibu.
And you don't care.
Well, yeah, you don't care. Well, certain people care. Michael, there's some people that use cars for appliances. They think nothing more of them than an appliance. But that's but then there are those who look at cars as a reflection of their personality, a reflection of who they are, their way to make a statement in the world. And that's why you have the Porsches and the pickup trucks and the electric cars and the different designs that are not just like a Toyota Corolla or something
I
like that.
saw I
It's
saw a British murder mystery set in 1965, and the head detective was driving a Jaguar XKE, and it was a beauty,
oh
dark,
yeah.
dark green, English racing green, and I just wondered why they never brought that back. They should bring back that shape.
Well, did you see the new Jaguar? I guess they're doing a facelift to the whole country, to the whole company. They can't sell any Jaguars that they have. They're not selling too many. So they're going to go radical, all electric, and some of the designs. And if you get a chance to see them, I'll see if I can call them up here. Are now keep in mind that they're just concept cars, but they're very interesting.
Here's a wonderful car that you can't buy because we never made it. We got a picture of it.
So this is the rebrand. I'm going to see if I can bring this up here. Let's see. Present.
Send arms. Huh.
Share screen. Present arms. uh,
That's what they were saying a lot in South Korea yesterday.
yeah. Let's get to that in a second. Okay, we don't want that. I don't know. Can you see that?
Not yet. Here we go. Okay.
So that is the new Jaguar
Looks like a
that'll
Charger.
be along in a few years.
Somebody's missing a Dodge Charger.
Yeah, well, you see, that's the thing with these cars is even now because of safety regulations and so on and so forth, even the cars start to look the same. The concept cars, kind of, but it's it's a stunning car. The fact that they showed it off in pink is also stunning. Um, and I can see this car, but you're right. I mean, if you go back and you look at the Dodge Charger, kind of hard not to see that. So it's anyway. Yeah, what is going on in Korea? 1 minute they declare martial law, the next minute, um,
National holiday. Everybody relax. Let's go to the beach. Forget about it. It was a mistake. Okay, I overreacted.
they're trying to impeach the president of South Korea. Now, I'm used to wacky stuff going on in North Korea. I mean, we see that all the time, but that's all going to go away because Trump will fix it. But South Korea, you expect to be as stable as any country on the face of the earth.
Well, the country stabilized, but their leader got a little freaky. Mr. Yoon.
Any idea what exactly it was about, or was it just something that kind of?
He said that the conservative parts of the government were aligning with North Korea, and to stop them, he had to declare martial law. Unfortunately, when you declare martial law, the legislative bodies are forbidden to meet, so they couldn't shut him down because according to martial law, they couldn't get into the legislature building, and the army was there to keep them out. So by hook or by crook, the legislators saved the country by meeting, voting out martial law, and saying no more of that.
And Yoon is, I guess, he's still president, but they're moving to impeach him.
He's lost his plurality.
Yeah, his vote of confidence is not confident, which is not a good thing.
See, that's
Your
what one
vote of
guy can
confidence
do. That's what
does
one
not
guy can
show
do
you
when-
confidence.
Yeah. What's wrong with you today? I'm having a bad day. We're going to do martial law. See if I feel better.
Yeah, and although I'm sure Marjorie Taylor Greene saw that and said, "Now that might not be a bad place for me to move to."
They have marshals everywhere, and the marshals are in charge of the law. I can live with that.
And evidently, very, very religious people.
And they have K-pop,
Yeah, and they got K-pop.
lots of it.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I know that it's a thing, but I've never really. I mean, I saw that. What was it? BTC or whatever that band was that performed on the marquee. Was it on the marquee or on the roof of the Ed Sullivan Theater?
The marquee.
Yeah, it was the marquee because they were trying to make them look like the Beatles, I guess. I don't know.
Because McCartney played it there.
Yeah, and the Beatles, of course, played the inside the Ed Sullivan Theater. Nobody came up with the idea of putting them out on the marquee outside because I think it was the middle of winter time when they played.
And they said, couldn't we just play on the stage? It's sort of like what we do. We don't want to play on the roof.
Yeah, that'll come. I mean, you'll convince us years from now that we should play on the roof, but not right now. Well, we leave that to the Rolling Stones. Let them do that.
Let let Freddie and the Dreamers play on the roof.
I'm telling you now. What was it? Do the Freddie. Do the Freddie. Freddie and the Dreamers. That was an interesting. That was a good fun band. I remember them seeing them. My mom liked them. Which was the kiss of death in those days.
The hand thing.
Yeah, it was the first you left up, but you left up too. And the guy had glasses, and I wore glasses. So Freddie had glasses.
He looked like
I
Buddy
had
Holly.
glasses. There was a role model thing going on there. Freddie and the Dreamers. None of the Beatles wore glasses on stage.
Buddy Holly wore glasses.
Ann was born on the same day I am.
Really?
So, So he's always been Buddy Holly has always been one of my heroes.
And one of mine. I remember I
One of
bought those
my
45s. Brunswick. He was a guy that was on two labels. He was on Brunswick Records and he was on Coral Records. It's the same thing. Oh, who knew? Well, then why do you need two of them if it's the same?
well, one's not being investigated and one is. And maybe the best performance in a rock and roll movie ever by Gary Busey in the
Oh,
Buddy Holly story.
yeah, he did a really good job.
Man, I mean
And it wasn't the
he
part that called for a crazy man, which he happened to be.
he nailed it. And didn't he play guitar and sing in that I believe he like played guitar and sang in that movie too.
You know, that I don't recall. You could be right.
That would be cool. That would be yeah. You just don't see
And
now.
then
I've been kind of following.
then he went to the edge and never quite backed away from the edge.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know what got him, but I don't know if it was drugs or insanity or what it was, mental illness. But yeah, he's just never kind of reality TV. Don't become a reality TV star.
And this is listen to me now. Don't become a reality TV star.
Yeah, it doesn't. Most of the people I see that have bought into the reality TV thing, it just never seems to end well for many of them. Um, Trump is probably the only one it's ended well for. Everybody else, Mama June and Baby Boo Boo or whatever,
They're both in the slammer.
everybody seems to be being not doing. I mean, I watched this 90-Day Fiance, and
Don't do that. Don't do that.
that's a bunch of really.
Sick people.
Some of them are, yeah. Some of them are really. You just question their sanity, and you question the producers' ability to exploit these people.
If they ever get a job playing a cop on TV, they play the cop who doesn't wait for backup and says, "I'm going in." Whatever you do, don't go into that warehouse by yourself. Why? Well, they got 20 guys in there and you're by yourself because you're not waiting for backup. Wait for backup, then go in. Okay. What are you doing? I'm going in. What did we just say? What did I just say to you? Don't go in. I'm going. No, we're not waiting. We're going. I'm going in. I gave it some thought. No, you didn't think about it. You have no idea what you're going to see when you go in there. Do not go in. What are you going to do? I'm going in.
True. Oh man, and I guess we would be remiss if we did not mention the Juan Soto sweepstakes. That is,
Has he got a deal, or is we're just talking about the neighborhood?
yeah, no, I don't think he has a deal yet. If he does, he hasn't told us about it. But I got to say that $600 million.
It's a million short of what Otani got.
And then um and then uh and then the owner of the Mets says that he'll go 50 million on top of whatever the high offer is.
So he buys stuff like Leon Mux buys stuff.
Like Leon Musk, yeah. Yeah. He's evidently he is and I'm just trying to see if I can get a number of which
But I'm selling Juan Soto to you, and you're telling me how much it costs. I should tell you how much it costs. No, I'm telling you, whatever you say it is, I'll pay 50 million more. So no matter what I say, you heard me. Okay, 700 million. So I bid 750. There. That's going to be the end of it.
It's crazy. I mean,
Do the Mets want this guy that badly?
well, they say they do, but I don't, again, it kind of brings up the question, what is it better to do? Is one guy going to make your team that much better that he's going to be? If you took that $600 million and got yourself a shortstop, a second baseman, and a first baseman, or 3 outfielders, or is there one player who can make that much of a difference?
Who has more effect on the average Met fan, Harry M. Stevens or Juan Soto?
Well, probably Harry M. Stevens, because you got to hold it in on the subway going home.
But if you invested $600 million in Harry M. Stevens, what a spread he'd put out for every game.
He'd put a nice, yeah. Well, Harry isn't there anymore, but the people who do that for $600 million, and that's the thing. I mean, it makes me. I mean, parking at Citi Field is $50 now. What is parking going to be at Citi Field if they sign Juan Soto?
You want street parking or Soto parking? Well, what's the Soto parking? $75, and
what are tickets going to be? I mean, is the television? You're in this situation now with Major League Baseball, as you are with all sports and cable and TV in general, where the whole landscape is changing. All of these teams now are on different streaming services. You're going to have to pay to see almost any game.
And 2 teams in the American League don't have stadiums: the Oakland Sacramento A's and the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays and the A's.
Yeah, the Rays and the A's. You can call me Ray. You can call me A. So I don't. And I understand that they're just numbers now, but it does affect the fan. It's the difference between a $2 Coke and a $4 Coke. It's the difference between you going to a game 10 times a year or 1 time a year.
Yeah.
It's the difference between you buying the package for whatever it is on Root Sports to watch the Mariners or not buying it, because it becomes too expensive.
Because it's the difference between Marvelous Marvin Thornberry and Juan Soto.
Yeah, it's again, it just seems to be the numbers are so ridiculous, and people have the nerve to say the economy's bad.
And the only guy who made a difference at that level was Shohei Ohtani, and he didn't even pitch; he was only hitting. He didn't even play in the field; he only hit. It still made the difference.
Yeah. You could simplify it down to the fact: is this guy as good as Ohtani?
Well, he ain't. He's very good, but he's not as good as.
It's to me, it's just. I think I would rather. I mean, it would be nice to have a Juan Soto, and it's gonna, it's every time, he gets up to bat, people are gonna, stop and look and everything like that. The fans are. I mean, the average guy driving a truck, he's not going to be affected by it, except he's not going to be able to take his kids to the game. But that guy, the only thing it's going to force him to do is to put his kids in the car and take them over to watch the Staten Island Yankees or the Brooklyn Cyclones, because he can get in there, and the kids don't know the difference. My nephews, if they go to a Brooklyn Cyclones game, they're going to watch a baseball game. They don't know the difference. When they're a little bit older, they might.
Oh, they will.
But right now,
If they're
they
baseball
just know they're
fans.
going to a baseball game. They're going to eat hot dogs and eat popcorn and get a stomach ache at the end of it.
Harry M. Stevens, here we go.
But, to go to Citi Field and all of that, it probably registers just about the same to them. But I guess, the guy that owns the Mets thinks that they're going to get a casino put in near the ballpark where all the junkyards used to be.
Is he thinking
That
if I had had Juan Soto in the playoffs, I'd have gone further?
Yeah, and you could probably make a case for that.
Well, the Yankees
But
had
would
Juan
have
Soto,
anybody been able to afford to come to see you?
well, they got
Would any of your fans that bought those tickets been able to buy them and come and see them if the tickets, instead of being 150 a game, were 350 a game because you got to pay Soto?
and you got to let Fox News put their announcer on the bench at all times.
Yeah, and again, look at it. Does Juan Soto? We all know that there's a period in baseball between opening day and when school gets out that
It's still early.
the attendance in the ballparks is not great. Maybe in a place that holds 45,000, you get 20,000, 18,000, because it's school nights, people are taking tests, it's cold, it's raining, whatever, depending on where you are. Will Juan Soto put people in the seats in those games? Now, if you can answer yes to me for that, then I'm saying, well, now you got something.
And New York, don't forget about the experiment of Aaron Rodgers. That was supposed to put people in the seats. That was supposed to transform a football team. Supposed to change everything in the Big Apple, upset the power structure in the city, change everything dramatically, bring the Jets into the winning column. The formidable New York Jets, champions, playoff team, undefeated. Nope.
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 An injury and last year and an idiocy this year. And an out of control player.
And you might make the argument that he was better off not playing. We still loved him then. He got a rough break. Poor guy.
No, now
he should have stood in bed.
Now they can't wait to get him out of New York. And I trust that he can't wait to get out of there either. He's just not worth the trouble.
And he thought he knew how to handle the media, but he didn't.
No, he's finding out that he's in the pool of the most accomplished sharks that have ever lived. They don't smell blood. They smell the knife going toward the skin.
They know what the blood's going to smell like.
Yeah, they know what the blood's going to smell like. So, again, does Soto make that difference for you? Where listen, go back to the Mets a couple of years ago when they brought in Scherzer, Scherzer, and the other guy, and Verlander. That was supposed to make them instant contenders, right?
Two veterans, and neither one of them was there.
Two veterans, and both of them gone before the end of the season.
Scherzer, how you doing? I don't feel so good. What about the other guy? He don't feel so good.
He's not feeling so good. I mean, we got all this money we've been counting. We must have caught an infection from it.
I count with my right hand, and the shoulder's killing me.
But but now it's nice that the owner of the team will spend that kind of money. I mean, he certainly realizes that the game in New York, as we've been saying for years, is not just winning games. It's winning the media. It's winning the headline every day.
It's funny how there's two baseball teams in New York, but one seems to fall out of favor, and it just doesn't make the front page anymore.
Uh, yeah, it's what can you do to get the back page every day,
Yeah.
and it's been like that since I was a kid.
Yeah. Not the corner down at the bottom where there's a box saying who won. You got to have the
No, the
headline, the
headline,
picture, and the accounts of the game.
right? You want the headline. You want the top of that of the back where the sports fan goes first. Now nowadays it's different, I know, but in New York, the newspaper, the headline on the back of that newspaper still matters.
And it forms your opinion of your team. But I'm a Mets fan. Yeah, but when you read the headline, how do you feel? All is lost.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, this year was a great year for the Nets, but that what happened this year only means that anything short of the World Series next year is a failure.
And the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves and a couple other teams feel exactly the same way.
Yeah, how do you feel if you're the Yankees? How do you feel if you are if you got
How
your
do you
ass
feel?
kicked by the Dodgers
How do you feel if
like
you're
they
Juan
did?
Soto, for that matter?
Yeah,
Juan, if you're so great, let's look at your performance in the World Series because, quite frankly, it wasn't there.
yeah. So, um,
And in New York, they are, quite frankly, almost every damn day.
and I have to ask the question too in New York, who would you rather have on the team? Would you rather have Pete Alonso back, or would you rather have Juan Soto?
Personally, I'm going to take the polar bear.
Yeah, I mean, what he did for that franchise last year, um, is far beyond anything that anybody's seen since the Mookie Wilson.
And it's funny when the Mets got hot, he was always part of it. He never went 0 for 4 when they had a big day.
And he hit them, what again could be considered the most crucial home run in franchise history. And so to me, if you got to keep that guy around at all costs. That's your
Oh,
franchise.
you can't say all costs in New York. You'd be surprised how much it'll cost.
Yeah, you can't say it all. You're right. So Uncle Steve has has some ciphering to do. Uncle Steve got to sit down with a pencil, with a number two and a pad, and
And
he's got to
cipher.
like start to say, um, "What am I doing here?
Am I just going
What
to add
can I
50
do
to
here?
the, yeah.
How much of my personal fortune do I want to give up?" Because he certainly is. It's not, there's only so much you're going to be able to charge people to go to a game.
What does a burger and fries cost at Met Stadium?
I got no idea, but I'd be shocked if it was under $25.
Whew, that's bold pricing. That makes me want to stand in front of the Hilton Hotel in Midtown.
I went to my first rock and roll show at the Hilton.
Who was playing? Freddie and the Dreamers?
The Blues Magoos.
We ain't got nothing then.
Yep, the Blues Magoos. It was Cousin Brucey's big break, and they had a
Cousin
bunch
Brucey
of
rips off the
bands come
Blues
in,
Magoo.
won a contest, and they would play, and then the Blues Magoos were like the headliner, and Cousin Brucey was the MC, and I was 1966, so I was 11 years old, 12 maybe. My first show.
How were the Blues Magoos? Were they everything you expected them to
They
be?
were awesome. Yeah, to me, they could have been the Beatles at 11 years old. Just like to my nephew, the Staten Island Yankees could be the real Yankees. Although there is nothing like going to a Major League Baseball park for your first time.
Just to see the grass, and smell
To
it.
see the whole, I mean, the Polo Grounds for the first time. It could have been old, could have been decrepit, could have been falling apart. To me, it was like I went into the castle.
It was a palace.
Like I finally got a chance to go into the castle. You know, you passed it all the time on the Deegan or on the Harlem River Drive, I should say. Same with Yankee Stadium. You passed it on the Deegan all the time. Coming back from, there were two things you looked for driving back on the Major Deegan Expressway: the Stella D'Oro Cookie Factory,
Which you
but you could smell it,
have a little respect.
and the sign on Yankee Stadium. There was a sign. There were signs outside of Yankee Stadium that
That
said
says
Yankees won
Yankees.
today, Cleveland tomorrow, 2:05.
That's good marketing.
That's all they needed. That's all they needed. They were the Yankees. Half the baseball fans were going to love them no matter what.
And they had fans all over the world. They had no idea what baseball was all about. New York Yankees, yeah, New York Yankees.
Yeah. See, you see, when you watch some of these TV shows and they're in Ethiopia or they're in Ghana or some of these different countries, and you see people walking around with Yankee hats on
There they are, walking right down the street.
with their knockoff Yankee hats. That Steinbrenner is probably looking and saying, "Wait a minute, has that thing got a tag on it?
Let me see that again. Slow it down.
Slow it down. Did we get paid for that?"
Well, Vinny,
They know what they're doing.
shall we see each other on a Freaky Fractious Friday?
Let's do Friday. Let's have some fun on Friday, which we always do. And even though I'm not driving the Volkswagen ID Buzz anymore, I'm still a happy camper.
What are you driving?
I have the Toyota Sequoia, which is a huge SUV.
It's more than a car, more than an SUV. It's an affair. It's a state of mind.
You could live in it. I mean, you see some of these people with the tiny homes and everything on YouTube. You could jump in this thing and live in it. Just put a bed down, have a couple of changes of clothes and some water, and a membership to the Planet Fitness, so you can go take a shower every day, or every other day, or every week, depending on, your what you like, and you can live in it. It's that big.
That was almost my first break in radio. Hugh Turner was the owner of KTIM before it became a rock station. And a car dealer had come to him and said, I want to put a kid in a crane, in a car, suspended in the air over the lot. And it's going to be a wonder. He's going to be up there. We'll do reports from him. We'll talk to him every day. He can't leave there until we sell the cars or until we make this sales limit. And he said, would you do that? I said, yeah, I'd do that. They said, yeah, we're not going to do it. It's not safe. What if you fall? What if it breaks? What if the crane comes down? What if somebody tries to break in at night? What if? I'll be a fool for putting you up there and risking your life, and you'll be the victim because there's nothing you can do to stop it. An idiot will take advantage of us. No, we're not doing it. My big break was there and gone in one meeting.
When they wanted to put us up on the billboard,
We should have done that.
yeah, I was game for it at the time. Now I look back at it and say, I don't know, man. I like to,
No,
I like to go to the bathroom.
we would have been miserable.
Oh yeah,
That was part of the game.
yeah,
How much misery can Mikey and Vinnie take?
I don't think it would have been pretty, but
Are we famous yet? We want to come down. Will you remember us? Are we famous? No, not famous yet.
Yeah, I didn't want to crap in a bucket for a month. It just wasn't my.
Plus,
Yeah.
remember the astronauts that went up with Boeing. What could possibly go wrong? If anything goes wrong, we'll come up and get you in a couple months. You'll be making soup with your own urine. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what did you say? You'll be making soup with your own urine. Well, that just doesn't. Nah. I think I'll stay in bed.
Yeah, I think I think I'll go get a job at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
As a speed dummy.
They have bathrooms there.
They do.
And a
They do.
cafeteria. And as far as I know, they're not making urine soup.
And the bathrooms are jet propelled. Look out, I'm telling you.
And they have a health club membership right here on the ground.
Have a good
All
one,
right,
Vinny.
Mike. I'll see you on Friday if the Lord's willing. The creek don't rise.
Creek could rise. The creek could very well rise this week.
Well, I'm
Mike
hoping
and Vinny will be
not.
on the Mike and Vinny will be on the billboard on Mercer somewhere.
I'm hoping we get I'm hoping we catch a break and we get a nice rest of the month and then a white Christmas. I don't think you'll get that down there, but
I want a warm Christmas. Make it 80 degrees. I'll be happy. Wear a Hawaiian shirt and a seersucker suit.
yeah, them cold Christmases are getting to be a thing of the past for me too.
You can have it.
I'm looking for warmth on Christmas.
And may you have it. Merry Christmas, Vin.
All right, Mikey. See you on Friday if the Lord's willing. The creek don't. Friday if the Lord's willing. The creek don't rise. Peace, love, and as Sammy always says, Manischewitz, baby.
What a wine. But what did he know?
What did he know? He was just the greatest entertainer of all time.
Sure,
He'll ask him, he'll tell you. All right. Be good, man. Thank you all for listening, too. We always appreciate it. Mikey and Vinny here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10:10 or thereabouts. Bye-bye.